Welcome to the latest episode of our weekly seafood news roundup, brought to you by Urner Barry's Comtel. I'm your host and seafoodnews.com editor Michael Ramsing, and we've hit the deep freeze here in New Jersey to close out the week. Fortunately, we've been able to keep warm with plenty of hot news takes from some of the major seafood markets this week. We kick off today's headline news with a projection from Thailand's Shrimp Association that estimated the country's shrimp output to reach 350,000 metric tons. That's 50,000 metric more tons than this year's production. Thailand now expects its shrimp exports to increase between 10 and 15% next year. Some industry insiders say Thailand's projections might be a little too optimistic. But one fact that's abundantly clear is how Thailand's shrimp production has rebounded after years of disease issues. Thailand has reestablished itself as the third best shrimp supplier to the U.S. market in 2016, with its imports up 12% in 2016. In some surprising news, Iceland's fishermen voted to go back on strike after the country's four major fishing unions rejected a collective bargaining agreement that was reached last month. This is a complete reversal for Iceland's fishing industry that was just a month ago saw fishermen and processors agree to a 2-year labor deal. This work stoppage could again threaten Iceland's fresh cod production and exports to the U.S. market, which are up nearly 29% through October to about 8.9 million pounds. This increase in fresh Icelandic cod to the market has been driven mainly by East Coast demand, and the theory is if the strike lingers, it could impact U.S. buyers that have become dependent on weekly air shipments of the fish. Meanwhile, Oregon Dungeness crab fishermen finally got the go-ahead to commence fishing on December 18th. Fishermen and processors agreed to $3 per pound boat price, which was marginally higher from last year's negotiated price at the docks. Pre-season meat fill tests used by state fishery officials reported high-quality crabs with plenty of meat. In other news, frozen Mahi inventories in the U.S. market are likely to be short in 2017 since importers are backing away from the fish because of high rates of FDA rejections this year. At the same time, the Mahi fishing seasons in Ecuador and Peru have been lackluster. Importers are reporting tight availability of the fish, while processors are paying premium prices for materials at the beach, which has translated to record high fresh prices and near record high frozen prices in the market, according to Urner Barry. This means Mahi is likely to disappear from menus next year as importers are advising customers to find alternatives. Subscribers to seafoodnews.com get all of these stories and more from around the seafood industry every day. As for today's top story, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the lobster market in North America this month. First, the winter season in Nova Scotia's major lobster fishing areas 33 and 34 were delayed because of bad weather. This is a big change from last season when Canadian lobstermen reported some of the fishery's best fishing weather in several years. Meanwhile, the quality of the lobsters has not been good. Most landed lobsters have only been good enough for processing or for sales to local live markets. This means there's been a lack of live product available for long-distance exports, but exports to European and Chinese markets are still strong. All of this is making for a very murky lobster market situation, which has created a lot of caution on the part of buyers who are not sure if the market is going lower or not. And that concludes our report, which was presented today by Urner Barry's Comtel. Gain access to the wholesale seafood industry's top platform for market quotations, news, and expert commentary. Traders in the wholesale seafood market make a better business decision every day when they use Urner Barry's Comtel. Remember, you can always tell us how we're doing on Twitter by tweeting at us at SeafoodComNews and at UBSeafood, and like Urner Barry and Seafood News on Facebook to learn more about what we're up to. You can also listen to Urner Barry on your mobile device through our Market Digest and Seafood News podcast series. Look for our latest Seafood News podcast that features an interview with Urner Barry President Paula Brown talking about the shrimp import market. For Urner Barry and Seafood News, I'm Michael Ramsing. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all again next week.